Bila shaka yote haya unayapata ndani ya 47 Sifa. Nami Liz Mutuko ndani ya TV47.
Hello and a very warm welcome to Saturday Confessions with me, Leangari, on TV47. Indeed, it's a wonderful Saturday and I'm happy to be having you join us again for this amazing show that gets to highlight stories that have not been told before and not been heard. And if they've been heard, we will tell them differently. Tonight's guest, we have decided to conceal his identity in the interest of protecting our sources. As TV47, we are very sensitive to our viewers, and where need is for us to conceal their identity, we will surely do that for the sake of protecting our sources. However, our guest tonight, he's a former drug peddler. He is also a university graduate with a bachelor's degree and a second-class honors. However, how this gentleman ended up in peddling weed and cocaine, that's a story we want to get tonight. And his story is very intriguing. More of what happens with the young people when they're left idle and when they are not finding enough to cater for their needs, daily needs. And with us in studio is indeed our guest. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your story with us today. Let's begin. And of course, I must tell our viewer, we will not be telling you his name in the interest of also concealing his identity, but I'm sure he will be able to tell us the true story of what he has come to share with us and has decided to come into to TV47 to tell us a little bit more about the world of drug peddling and cocaine peddling, of course, in this regard. You are a graduate of university with a bachelor's degree, got a second-class honors. Tell us about that.
The thing is, I hustled school and everything, but I saw an opportunity kuuza drugs sababu mtu ungeweza kumake a lot than a graduate. In no time unaweza make hadi 5k like a joke. Now, for example, a bag of coke unaweza get now 6,000. So you see, you've covered a CEO's almost salary in a matter of seconds. So a bag of weed is 500 to 1,000 depending on the grams. So hapo hivyo ndio nikaona wenyewe hata kama nimesoma all this, kuna mtu mwingine anamekio pesa ni kama amefunga macho.
Na kuna venye ulikuwa unafanya hii kazi you used to do the business of selling CDs, DVDs and stuff like that. Kwa nini uliacha?
Ni kwa sababu the money I was making then and the money I found my friends making, the temptation was too much for me. Sasa nikajipata yenyewe niko kwa ile position, mimi niko na shop na honestly nikaona hapa afadhali tufanye hii kitu. Na unajua so I said Pablo did it, why not me? So he ended up doing whatever he did for his family, and I had a son, my son was young then, it was around 2015, he was just born. So I was really struggling and paying the rent and everything. We are living in a shanty, so I had to get out of myself out of the situation then.
Where was your family at the time?
My family, I rented a house, it was 1,500. So nikaona, I need to get them out of here because we didn't have much then. We only had the mattress, kajiko. Most times, okay, the struggle was really much, and the baby needed a lot of. Alikuwa mgonjwa because alikuwa na shida breathing most.
But your immediate family, that is your mother, father,
Yes.
and your siblings, of which you are from a family of 3 children.
Yes.
You're the third born, or
Yes.
are you the first born?
No, I'm the last born.
You're the last born.
Yes.
So where was your family at the time when you were clearing university and considering now going into drug peddling?
Okay, my mom was here. So my dad was away, and my brother and sister, they were away out of the country. Lakini sasa mimi singewaambia mashida zangu kwa sababu mimi nilikuwa nishasoma and wamenifanyia kila kitu kwa life. So me I thought mwanaume ni kujikaza kamba, unaona, na hiyo ndio nitasema I'll do it on my own. I don't need to keep on disturbing. You know, I had done it in college, kuchafua. And here there was a chick na kuna mtoto wangu. Do I have to keep on calling? Do I have to keep on disturbing? So I had to make a choice. So hapo hivyo ndo nikaona the only thing I'll do the only thing I know, because I had done it for a while. So I knew the life, I knew the risk, and
you had done it for a while.
Yes.
So that means when you were in university, you were still peddling weed and cocaine. Weed in this case.
Yeah, weed mostly weed. Alafu ilikuwa back in the day, ilikuwa bush weed, ilikuwa 30 bob. And I knew people wenye walikuwa wanapata the more expensive one, shash. So this guy, my friend, alikuwa anaitwa Ethiopia. So he was the only one doing it in Nairobi back in the day.
No, ni mtu mlikuwa naye uni?
Tulikuwa naye uni, that's how I knew him. So alikuwa at least na pesa. I don't know why, but alikuwa tu na pesa. He used to do it largely because alikuwa hakuwa anafanya small scale. Alikuwa anafanya large scale. I think I don't know, he had somebody loaning him or they had a farm somewhere, but he used to get a lot. Na tulikuwa tunajuana sana, alikuwa anaweza kunitrust.
Okay. So umemaliza uni and now you're thinking of what next. You've started a small business and you decide I'd rather sell drugs than sell DVDs.
Yes.
Yeah?
Because at least I know hapo nitaomoka haraka kuliko kushinda hapa hivi kishinda nikiban movies and everything. Kuna wasi wa copyright bado, license, I had them paid, rent, it was just too much for me. And then I didn't have a lot of clients, so I was really struggling and I had to feed my family, so it was a struggle.
Okay. So now, in what year did you now go into full swing? Now I want to go into drug peddling, full swing.
Now that was back July 2015. Hapo ndio niliamua kama mbaya. Hii ndio najua, hii ndio itanitoa kwa shimo. So hapo ndo nika-introduce huyu drug peddler mkubwa sana. Alikuwa anauzanga bush. So nikamwambia, by the way, umekuwa ukifanya something na hii kitu yako ni ya 250, but acha nikuonyeshe something, hata wewe utaekelea pesa na regret forever and ever. Na I'm sure paka leo unikumbuka. So nikamwambia, mimi najua mtu anaweza kuletea kilo 5 na 75,000, but he haku understand what was this shash all about. So hapo ndio tuka-agree nimletee sample na watu wake wachome, ndio kwa sababu yeye achomangi, but watu wake wachome ndio sample wasikie. Nikamletea, watu wake wakachoma, wakaniambia sikia kitu kama hiyo. So it was very funny. Hapo na hapo sikuwa count pesa mingi hivyo, akanipea the first 75, akaniambia na kutrust, because I know nimekuwa nikikuuzia, but for somehow alinitrust na hiyo pesa, na mimi alinipea pesa mingi. So 75,000 cash ilikuwa a lot of money, na sikuishika pesa kama hiyo. Nikaona acha nisimuangushe, cause najua huyu atanitafuta na atanikata kichwa. Acha nimprovie na labda hata mimi hapa nitapata opportunity.
Kuna time your life was under threat ukiuza hizo drugs, labda umekosana na mkubwa wako?
Yes, na hapo ndio nilidungwa kwa sababu nilikuwa ni transport, alikuwa amenipatia hizi bush tuko tunaziita vifagio. Alikuwa amenipatia 300 pieces, nilikuwa nafaa kuzipeleka Mombasa kulikuwa na mtu huko alikuwa na connection huko, so niye bado ana supply huko. So mimi huyo nikachangamka nikaenda kwa basi zile za Mombasa juu mimi niko na disability a bit, so mimi I'm really convincing. So nikawaambia by the way hizi ni za uncle yangu na uncle yangu ako na shop huko, ni vitu za duka. So hakuwa na match na mimi nikampea 200 like asinifanyie favor mkubwa. So the guy didn't ask so many questions. Hapo na hapo nikazifikisha Mombasa. So the guy was really taking, na yeye alikuwa na other drugs, sababu pia alikuwa he was really into, lakini yako anapata good weed, but alikuwa anafanya drugs zingine. So hapo hivyo ndio
alikuwa anafanya drugs kama gani?
Cocaine, heroin, hizi pharmacy drugs zile za mental. So hizo ndio anafanya sana, but cocaine ndio ilikuwa most alikuwa anafanya. So mimi hapo tukaongea na yeye, nikamwambia by the way naweza tafuta soko nikirudi hivyo, lakini tucheze chini ya maji.
Hizi drugs nilikuwa mnatoa wapi?
Ilikuwa sisi tulikuwa middleman. Mwenye nilikuwa nafanyia job alikuwa na connections za mashamba, so akona mashamba everywhere kwa alikuwa na make pesa mingi, so anapea different people to fanya the planting. So after the planting wanaleta sasa, inakuja Nairobi, lakini anafanya huko Nyanza, Kisumu, inatoka different places, inatoka Isiolo, Ethiopia. So kuna watu wengi wako involved. It's a win-win situation. Wewe bora ukiweza kupanda na shughuli, wewe bora ukiwa nayo atakupatia pesa. Yeye hataki kujua zile risk, wewe bora ufikishe.
So ukizipata,
yes,
you're saying you were transporting to Mombasa.
Yes.
How many other places were you transporting this weed and all these other drugs to?
So alikuwa ananipatia Mombasa, natoka Mombasa tunazifikisha Thika, bado alikuwa nasukuma huko Githurai. Alikuwa ameshikilia kama Nairobi mzima, ako na watu, ako na connections, the police, everyone, CIDs. As in, you fuck with this person, they will really mess you up. Sorry for saying that.
You can just use better language.
So sorry.
All right. So you're transporting this weed to,
and na hiyo transporting business ilikuwa inaniletea pesa mingi, sababu akinipatia kama za 700,000, tuseme hizo estimation ya hiyo box mzima, mimi niko na journey about 2.5 million to 700, mostly 800, 1 million. Nilikuwa najua hapo mimi nitapata 10k. Sasa mimi
10k kutoka hiyo pesa yote?
10k I was young and it was enough for me then. So nilikuwa na, alafu mimi sikuwa naulizwa tu maswali mengi, ilikuwa tu kufikisha. So mimi sikuwa na mind, lakini ikafika point 2016 nikaona by the way nachukua so much risk, na hapa na making peanuts, let me do this on my own. So hapo hivyo ndio nikaamua, najua mtaa yangu yote kila mtu amenitambua kwa sababu I had really taken guys over there, so I really made a name for myself.
So people knew you.
So people
now you had a lot of networks at the time.
So now I had a lot of guys from radio, guys from
various institutions. You were just going and selling to different people.
Yeah.
So let's look, I mean, when you now, without even mentioning the institutions,
yes,
you know, what ages of people were you selling this weed and cocaine to?
Mostly from around, I didn't want kids, so because I know kids is trouble. So I mostly university from above, at least above 18. Mm-hmm. At least above 18, I know you're not a kid. Because I don't want to get trouble with your parents. You're now getting in trouble with your parents. Hapo pia mimi hapo, that is something else. That's another case. Mm-hmm. So hapo hivyo ndio nikaona cocaine iko na pesa mingi.
So when did you fully go into cocaine? Because you began with weed,
yes,
and then you graduated to selling cocaine and weed at the same time. So
yes,
when did you go into selling cocaine?
Hapo nikamalizia hapo December, after nika make connections na ule okay, alikuwa naifanya on their own, so they didn't need me anymore. So nikaona hapana, hii kitu hata kama ni 50 bob, wacha ni graduate nifanye king size. King size ni 100 bob, so acha nifanye hiyo king size na bags 6k. So huyo mtu alikuwa ananipea break ya 500k. So na break up, tuna break ma pieces, kuna venye inapikangwa nika process. So alikuwa ananifanyia, tunafanya kwake ako ka process. So in the middle of that tunazifunga, to break to 6,000 bags, kama ni 6k. So tunafunga bags mob. So ananigaia kama at least 20 for myself, so at least niuze na huko mtaani. So mimi sikuwa ienda na miguu, so nilikuwa najua that's too much risk. So nilikuwa na deriva na bikes kwa maesto, kwa mapanga, kwa sababu hiyo tu inataka msi amefika bei.
Ulikuwa unaogopa kushikwa labda na polisi hivi?
Nilikuwa naogopa, but nilikuwa nimeshikwa mara kadhaa, at least hiyo 2016, and I knew, okay, tuko sawa. So home I had security, and at least I knew those guys would back me up. But at least nilikuwa nataka mtaani, okay, huko mtaani wasiwa mtaani wajue tu ni weed, kwa sababu wasiwa mtaani wakijua ni something else. Ni deal tu na clientele wako na pesa kufanya tu coke peke yake. Hizi zingine nafanya tu na wase wako na regulars. At least ninajua huko job, but ninajua wewe unafanyanga nini pia, ndio ninajua what I would do with you. So
ni clientele wagani wenye walikuwa nakuletea pesa mingi, like the ones who are really bringing in a lot of money for you?
Okay, celebs mostly ninajuana nao, cause mostly wanaishi my store hapo karibu. Okay, Kiambu Road, mostly 5-star, Edenville, okay, come to Runda, hizo area. So I had a lot of connections, because they knew I was that guy who would get you wherever you wanted. And nilikuwa naenda mabash mob, and people knew I was that guy. So ilikuwa tu tunakuorganize tu tunakuhook up.
Wow. Did you ever try these drugs yourself to see what effects they have?
Yes, I did.
Which drugs have you tried?
Okay, mostly weed sana, because it made me calm. But okay, cocaine, I did it. Not so much of it, but it's something else. Hiyo high yake natumanga ukuwe ni kama uko sharp.
High ya weed ama ya cocaine?
Ya cocaine. Uko sharp na uko really focused. Always lala, as in ni ngumu sana ulale. Uko really, as in hata mtu mwenye anajaribu kunini, like your eyes are really open, hata si kama mera or something, but uko really focused. Sema it's a focusing drug. Na ukitumia cocaine, si kama ngoja unajua na making mtu drowsy a bit. So that's why cocaine watu prefer sana. Okay, the rich, kwa sababu ni ngumu sana mtu atajue uko high on cocaine, sababu you look normal and your eyes aren't red. So hiyo ndio maana the rich prefer that than weed. Sababu okay, unaweza pata CEO anatumia hiyo na hakuna mtu ata notice. Uko really focused na huo mtu analangi. Ako 24/7 ako on. Na akikosa anakuwa really crampy. Anakuwa na maasira zingine, unashindwa okay, huo mtu venye unamjua si venye anakuwa na stress, anaweza hadi kuscratch mavitu, anajiscratch, iko na effects mbaya. So mtu lazima akuwe na pesa.
All right. Now, I know that you were stabbed, yes, not once, twice, or thrice, but many times,
yes,
when you were trying to peddle this weed because of many people who are trying to compete with you. Yes. But right now, I want us to take a short break. And when we get back, I want us to just delve further into that, some of the risks and the things you've gone through. So right now, we want to take a short break. Saturday Confessions takes a short break right now, and we'll be back to delve further into his story. Remember, he has been stabbed a couple of times. Quite a very interesting story there. And I mean, what do I say? Everyone, even my director is of course very surprised to hear this kind of story. But don't go too far. We'll be back shortly with more on this interview. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching Saturday Confessions with me, Leangari. We do apologize. A few technical hitches there, but we hope that we have actually resolved them. However, before we took a short break, we were talking to this gentleman. If I may just remind you, you can engage us through our social media platforms. That's TV47KE, throughout Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And we want to hear from you. Also, just to give you a little bit of an update on the story that we are covering today, this gentleman is a former drug peddler. Of course, before we took a break, he was telling us a bit of a review of his life story, from peddling a couple of drugs, from cocaine, also peddling weed and making lots of money. And now we just want to hear the fact that he has also been stabbed, not once or twice, thrice, but many times while he's in this business of drug peddling. Tell me, when was the first time you were stabbed?
This was back 2017, but I didn't talk about it. So I was trying to hide from my parents what was going on with my life. So mostly I was keeping a lot of secrets, and I know I'm in so much trouble, but I'm being honest because now I'm a changed man and coming out and saying all this.
But what happened that time when you were stabbed? What happened? Where was
it? It was in town, because there was an issue about there was some drugs that were taken. So the guy who had taken, so they thought it was me because I was the only one who was given access, but it was their cousin who had done it. So they cut me up on my with a knife on my stomach. So they're like, tuambie, you know, tunataka kujua ni nani na tutambui, you know. But I was an honest guy. I don't do.
How did you survive that?
It was really painful, but I had to hide it, you know. So I knew a friend because I have connections. So the doctors I do business with, so I take to them whatever they want. So they fix me up. So that's what happened.
The second time?
Yeah, the second time was last year, December. I know I lied about it. And I know I'm in so much trouble, but I had to because it was an incident. So somebody bagged me up with a chupa ya tea, and it was in a club, and so alinipata, and then akakwa, hey, umse paka anakuja kunywa huku kwetu, kwa as in ilikuwa like a house, I'll take over. Nimwambia mimi simtambui because I know him, he's a small time guy, so I don't do small time. So hata nikwambia even naweza ku-organize job manze, wache kufanya monkey business, ni introduce kwa the real stuff. Sababu hiyo stuff kwa nao ni mchezo tu. Wewe tu ni waste time. So that nikatoka kwa hiyo club, nikaona sitaki mambo mob juu I was with a friend. So nikaona so he had invited me for a drink. I don't drink much. I hate alcohol. It makes me you nipoteza. So you nichukua tu sana. So niko na prefer weed then. So nilikuwa nimechoma sana that day. So tukatoka hiyo club tukaenda next, so ka club kingine hapo. So wakaniambia hata nikubai hata kijaga tujonane in a long time, and then tuko tunajuana sana cause mostly when I moved to Kiambu, he was among the friends I knew then, and one of my closest friends until today. So nikasikia njaa, nikatoka hapo nje, nikasema let me go have something to eat because sababu nasikia njaa. Sikuwa napenda tu train, nilikuwa namtoka tu, but I just go kunywa. So mi kutoka ndio tukapatana na hiyo genge. So like walikuwa na really nitafuta, you know. So tukaanza kuongea. So mtu mwingine akakuja akaanza sema, bro, nini mnaulizana na mafala, hata wanauzanga manyaru. So manyaru ni okay, ni kama leaves na watu, you know. So akamuudhi. So katika hizo harakati akamgonga. So me trying to protect my friend, nikapata nimebashwa up my face really badly because I was bleeding profusely and blood ilikuwa ina spill out so much that my clothes zilikuwa zimejaa tu damu kabisa. I almost died. I really almost died. I swear, I know I called my wife that day and nikamwambia, baby, maybe this is the last day. I'm so sorry. I know I made the wrong choice. Makes me cry when because up my son, all this, what is it worth it? And you know, like my parents were trying to tell me to stop all this life. Hii life imewapitishia mambo mingi sana.
So this was a turning point for you. Uliona yani, hapa nisipoache hii kazi,
hapa nitadai. Kwa sababu sina, ukiendelea, the more unaendelea kuwa big, the more you need protection. Kwa sababu you need people around you.
So you never even had bodyguards or anything like that?
No, I had my guys, I had everyone knew me, and so the security was, everybody knew me, so nani, you know, I had assumed, some it's an assumption, yes. Sababu mtu ifika place alafu unaona mimi ni ule msee, so, and then they had given me a name of big drug lord, so
without even telling us your name.
Yes.
But you are known to be a big drug lord.
Yes.
In fact, when we were talking before during the break, you were telling me that people knew you.
Yes, yes.
Ani watu walikuwa wameshakutambua najua huyu ndio ule msee.
Huyu ndio ule msee wakicheki tu and I used to be that guy. Ukikama hauna form. It's no big yani chukua, you know, tutapatana kesho. So I used to kopesha guys yani. So as in there are those people who hana pesa leo but kesho najua atakuwa sawa. So I used to give mi simchoyo. Naweza sema my mom raised me up well. Sikuwa mchoyo. Na hiyo naweza sema ilinisaidia kwa biashara kwa sababu if you kwa biashara ukikopesha sana, you know, you get trust. Also people wanaku committing on you. Sababu they see afadhali tu deal na nani, sababu at least hata mimi kama siko sawa ananiokoleanga, you know. It wasn't a big problem because hata mimi connections nilikuwa napata in large quantity, na kama pia mimi siko na pesa kwa sababu sometimes ungeshikwa na cops wamechukua pesa yote, wamechafua, you know, bado mnafanya kazi pamoja but wanakugeuka at some point because you know you are the one who is making a lot of money and them they don't have you.
So let's look at 2016.
Yes.
Or even 2017.
Yes.
If you look at the end of the year, how much did you have?
I was making almost per month, let me give an actual figure. I don't know where the money goes, or I'm not sure because I have a book, but I used to write. But I know I used to make like 50 to 100K, but I'm telling you, I don't know where the money goes. I used to spend a lot. I used to be a big spender. So I used to buy stuff. If you
look at now where you are.
Yes.
The money you made through selling drugs.
Yes.
Do you have any of that money?
There's nothing I've done with it. Honestly, looking at it right now, I wish, you know, there's nothing I used to spoil my wife. I used to take her to nice places. I used to be like, mimi wamsee, goja babe kuonyesha, unajua leo unadai kwenda wapi, you know. Mtu hii tutampeleka swimming whatever. I used to come up as in, I know there is a guy who would be calling the K. Sahi hata, you know, the money wasn't a problem.
All right. So it is until last year.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Where you told me the last incident of stabbing, where you almost lost your life. That was a turnaround for you.
Yes.
And from there, you actually decided you will not do drug peddling anymore. So, what are you doing now?
What I'm doing now, right now, is art, mostly. A bit of blogging here, at least.
your livelihood. Tell me a bit about the paintings, and perhaps, you know, you say you make a bit of like 3,000, 5,000 shillings. Tell me a little bit more about how that is going for you.
It's not bad, though I'm not making it every day that money, but at least a week I can get something. So at least I use the connections I had to try and look for for clients. At least add connections in malls, because they used to, you know, when you need the bags, you need the papers for roll. So I used to go to Westlands, to big malls mostly, because you don't find such stuff just anywhere. So that's why I got, so Wahindi, so wako na hizo tuseme Westgate, Sarit, at least tuko kuna shops za painting. So I've been trying to push those guys to market for me. So that's where I am until now.
All right. And looking at that young person who is probably into drug peddling like what you were doing before, or even abusing the drugs,
yes.
What would you tell them?
It's not worth it. I know it may seem it's the best life ever. You know, when you don't care. Most people don't care, really. Most people don't care, but the law catches up with it. Gavani mrefu. Hiyo ni kitu nimejua na nimewitness, na mimi naweza kuambia watakujua, no matter how you think you're smart, they're always smarter than you, because there are many and you are alone, and you know. That's it. They are a gang and you are not. Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing your story, and we do hope that you will continue to inspire the people and remain on this track.
Yes.
Move away from drug peddling and remain on what you're doing.
That is it. That's why I came here, because I needed to change somebody's else life, because it's not worth it. It's never worth it. Haikuwa worth it. It cost your parents. It cost mostly the people around you, the people who, okay, can I say this? Your friends will never help you. When ukishashikwa hapo, honestly, I've learned through this the hard way. Kuna huo besti unadhanianga mnakuanga naye so close, atakutoka. Akisikia tu, makara, zikama dikuone, you know. Na hata hana shughuli na wewe, but hakuna mtu atapia except mtu. Your brother, your sister, or your father, or your mother. That's the only person that really matters. Na huo ndio unafaa usikize. Ukisikiza anybody else amekupoteza. And I'm being honest.
All right. Thank you for sharing your story, and we hope you will continue to inspire other people. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Well, that is our guest tonight. Of course, a very intriguing story there. We do apologize for the technical hitches here and there, but the story tonight has been a former drug peddler who has now reformed after having a near-death experience last year where he almost definitely lost his life because of being stabbed on the face, lost a bit of blood there. And what we are seeing is that he is now determined to remain on the course of reformation, and now he is a professional painter and he's not selling drugs anymore. And as you have heard, he believes that there's no one else who's closer to you than family. Do not depend on friends. However, as we continue in this show, we want to look at a story here where psychologists have reiterated that mental illness is a common condition in Kenya, with the prevalence as high as 25% in every population. However, it's common practice for most people to isolate themselves from victims and downplay the possibilities of being victims themselves. But what exactly causes mental illness in Kenya, and what is the solution? Our reporter Daniel Ndembende spoke to a psychologist, Mike Wahome, for more insight.
Coming to matters mental health, we always see that mental health, we look at it from the perspective that it does not concern me as long as I feel I'm fine. But in the real sense, we find that mental health actually affects all of us. It is part of being healthy. And if you're not mentally healthy, then you have a mental illness or a mental disability. Now, persons who are affected by mental health does not mean that they are now unfit to be in the community or in our societies or even in our households. It only means that this person is sick as anyone else could ail from any other illness, be it malaria, be it a flu, a cold. All they need is just they need the medical attention, and they need to be put on drugs so that they can be able to recover and go back to their normal functioning as a person. There are various causes of mental illness, and as they are very varied, then we don't want to stigmatize people who have mental health issues, because you never know what could be the cause. In a real sense, each one of us has a mental illness. According to the statistics, it says that 1 in 4 people is affected by matters mental health. That is a statistic that is as real as it is, because at one point or another, even you who is watching, I know, one of you might be suffering from stress. It might be the stress from maybe getting school fees, because children are supposed to go back to school from midterm, and maybe they need school fees to clear the balances that they have. And in one way or another, you are really trying as a parent to see how you can be able to fend for your child in matters school fees, and also other responsibilities that you have as a parent. So in one way or another, we are all affected by matters mental health. Stress is the most common one, and when it is not managed properly, stress may further go into depression, and from depression we find that there can be someone taking his life, death by suicide. So in the community, if there is no enough information about matters mental health, then this person who has stress, if he's not empowered on how to manage his stress, then the next step will be the person will be in depression. The next step, we will hear in the news that someone took his own life. It might be that the person has come to the realization of his wrongdoings. Number 2, he might have come into contact with this higher power. That is, the spiritual awakening has happened in him, that he has realized that there's the error in his ways. Also, there's always a person's moral code or moral standards that one adheres to, or principles. And normally we may tend to ignore our conscience, but sometimes it is so strong that it convicts us of that which we have done wrong. And when a person does this, it is mostly in acceptance and honesty to oneself that they come out of these issues. And in that case now, we come in as counselors or as psychologists to come and now help the person to walk through that journey of recovery.
Well, with that story, we come to the end of Saturday Confessions. Indeed, it's always a pleasure to have you join us, and we are happy to have had you glued to our screen tonight on this very intriguing story about drug abuse amongst the youth, and of course, drug peddling included. My name is Leangare. Again, this has been Saturday Confessions. It's always a pleasure. Join me next week, same time, same place, with a more intriguing story. So keep it TV 47. Good night.